Tonight is session 13 of the Diabetes Prevention Program, and we're going to be talking about taking charge of our thoughts. And Miss Miley Bean is going to be presenting tonight. So, Miley, we'll let you go ahead and take over.
Hey, everybody. So, like Angel said, tonight we are going to talk about taking charge of your thoughts. Our thoughts are a major hurdle when it comes to things in general, but especially when it comes to talking about diabetes. Together, we can all take charge of this. When taking charge of our thoughts, we have to know what's good and what's bad. Studies have shown that up to 80% of our daily thoughts are negative. In return, 95% of those thoughts are negative thoughts that we repeat throughout the day. All right, so let's see if we can get this to go to the next. There we go. So, harmful and helpful thoughts. Tonight we're going to talk about the difference between harmful and our helpful thoughts and how to replace the harmful thoughts with helpful thoughts. So I'm going to go ahead and read Anna's story. Anna is at risk for type 2 diabetes, so she's trying to eat well and be active. Most days Anna walks around the park, but on Tuesday it's raining. So Anna thinks the weather is lousy, so I better skip my walk for today. Anna decides to replace her harmful thoughts with a helpful one and say, "It's raining, so I'll walk in the mall instead. It will also give me a chance to run some errands." So to prevent harmful thinking, make sure your action plan is realistic, doable, specific, and flexible. Have a sense of humor. Take charge of yourself. Manage stress, get enough sleep, eat right and stay active, and keep things in perspective. Be around people who practice helpful thinking and celebrate your rewards or your progress with rewards. Okay, so can anybody tell me what are some thoughts that could get in our way and stop us from doing things? Anybody have a negative thought that we, often think?
Probably just, I don't have time.
Definitely, because trust me, I can make up plenty of excuses by saying I don't have time to do that. Anybody else got a negative thought? And it doesn't have to necessarily be related to diabetes, but just anything in general.
Saying I'm too tired this afternoon.
Yes, for sure. Especially if it's raining and, it's all dreary outside. It's easy for us to say, "Oh, I'm just going to stay at home. I'm going to sit on the couch, watch a movie or whatever." Some people often like to picture a big red stop sign. Others like to imagine the sound of a car slamming on its brakes. So we have to figure out what is helpful and harmful for us.
Okay.
What are some helpful thoughts? What are some helpful thoughts that we could replace our harmful thoughts with? Does anybody have any helpful thoughts?
Just choose to say, I have time. I choose to make time.
Yes, for sure. Sometimes we have to give ourselves a little pep talk and say, "Yes, we can do this." Or, "Yes, I can walk this mile," or however you want to look at it.
Or I'll feel better afterwards.
Yes, for sure. I know personally, if I make an excuse not to go to the gym and do something, I regret it later. Even though it was a good idea at once, it's not always the best idea. Okay, so let's talk about these points right here for just a second. For the all or nothing, you only see the extremes, You don't see anything in between. So here's a couple of examples. I can't eat ice cream ever again. So instead of being negative about that, you can say, I can have ice cream every once in a while. Or you could say, when I do have ice cream, I'll measure it. That way I don't have too much. Another thing with all or nothing is exercise is boring. So instead of thinking exercise is boring, even though you might really think it is, you can tell yourself, I haven't found an activity that I enjoy yet. I'll keep trying new activities until I find the one I like. Because just because something works for one person with activity doesn't mean that it's going to work for the next person, and vice versa. So you have to find what works for you. Okay, making excuses. Oftentimes we blame situations on other people for our mistakes. Instead of thinking that it's too cold or too hot outside to go for a walk, you can think, I will dress for the weather and walk anyways, or I will work out indoors. That's what Anna did. She ended up going to the mall for a walk instead since it was raining. An excuse could be, I can't meet my eating goals because my wife keeps making cookies. Instead of that, you can say, I find the cookies tempting, or I will ask my wife to make something healthier. Also, we have filtering. Sometimes we ignore the good and focus on the bad, and that can be easy to do. Sometimes we beat ourselves up. Instead of thinking no one else supports my healthy lifestyle, think my friend Shelly supports it. I will ask for more support. Instead of thinking I haven't stuck to my diet at all this week, think I stuck to my diet 4 out of 7 days. I have a plan for how I'm going to stick to the track in the future. So many times we talk about self-labeling. You call yourself something bad. So instead of thinking I'm such a weakling, you can think I can climb the stairs without getting out of breath now. Or you could think I'll be a little more active each week. Instead of thinking I'm the world's worst cook, you can think my daughter likes the stir fry I made last night. Or I'll keep learning more about cooking. So oftentimes, and I am guilty of this too, I think of comparing myself to others, or however you would like to look at it. You can compare yourself with other people and find yourself lacking. So instead of thinking, my friend has lost so much more weight than I have, you need to think, my weight loss has slowed down, but I'm going to ask my friend for some help. Instead of thinking Stella is so much stronger than I am, you can think, I'd like to be stronger. I'll try to start using my resistance bands. Another point is the gloom and doom. So many people assume the worst. So instead of thinking, I just know I'm going to get hurt, then I won't be able to work out, you can think, I'll take steps to work out safely. If I do get hurt, I'll find a different way to be more active. Instead of thinking, I just know I'm going to get type 2 diabetes since both of my parents have it, you can tell yourself that I know a lot more about how to prevent type 2 diabetes than my parents did. And I'll do what it takes to prevent type 2 diabetes. All right, so this right here is a little idea. I think it's neat. An awesome jar. So basically what you do is you find a container and you can put anything positive in it. You can decorate it, whatever works for you. You need to fill it with positive thoughts and other things about yourself. You can put, I'm a great cook. You can put, I'm a great singer, anything positive. You can put this wherever you want to. If home is a place where you find yourself thinking negatively, put a jar at home. If work is a place that you have lots of negative thoughts, put one at work. And so anytime you feel yourself thinking a negative thought about somebody, something, or whatever the situation may be, to where you have a negative thought, you go over to this jar and you pull out something positive. I also read that we have, to every one negative thought, we should have 3 positive thoughts. So if this is how you feel like you need to get those positive thoughts in, go for it. All of this can be a simple reminder that you can overcome any struggle you face and push beyond with confidence. So many times we get down on ourselves, but we have to overcome these negative thoughts with a positive. All right, for the action plan, I believe everybody is still working on these as we go along. Go ahead and set your goals. If your goal for this coming week is to make you an awesome jar, put that down. You can put whatever you want to on here, and let's start taking charge of our thoughts. Does anybody have any questions?
All right. Well, thank you, Molly. And what she was talking about is very true. We all have at times those negative thoughts, and we'll let those crowd our mind instead of thinking of the positive things or positive ways even that we can do things or add things in to help prevent and or treat diabetes. And so just making that action plan like she talked about, and even fill in that jar with those positive affirmations and things that can just be uplifting to you are all helpful tips. And so we thank you for joining us tonight.